American Council on Palestine. And thank you, Maxine, for saying that we have been organizing not only the ACP, but also multiple organizations here in Portland. And yes, the urgency is there. I am on the board of the Education Committee for the ACP. So my work is very much focused on policy and also on connecting with schools, the Portland Public Schools, making sure that our students, Palestinian, Arab, and Muslim students, are not being discriminated against, in addition to everything that their families are experiencing in Gaza. Losing family members, and also seeing their parents here, not being able to protect them, not being able to really sort of share the caring with them. And the reason is because the parents have lost brothers, sisters, aunts, cousins, everywhere. And so the children here are seeing their parents crying in front of the TV. And the children are also suffering more traumatic experiences because they feel that they have to protect their parents. So instead of being the child that gets the protection from the parent, the children feel that they have this role of protecting their parents. So yes, Gaza, and what's happening in Gaza and the genocide did not start on October 7th. It started 100 years ago from my grandparents, my parents, who became refugees in their own homeland. I lived under Israeli occupation since 1967. I know too well what is an apartheid regime is. I know the segregation. I know everything that Israel is capable of doing. At this time, the genocide is something that we cannot accept. And we will do everything that we can by calling our senators, calling also on our congresspeople. And the most important thing is to organize and to connect with other organizations, with Jewish Voice for Peace, with JVP, which is the Jewish Palestinian Alliance of Oregon, with Interfaith Community, with Sabil, Fosna, which is Friends for Sabil North America. And so I would like to thank you for coming here today and for giving support for my people. Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions that they'd like to ask for any panel members? I think that's on.
Thank you. Oh, it's on. Thank you. So I do want to name names. There is a county commissioner here in Washington County, Chair Harrington, who during the last county commission meeting preempted the public comment and said, if anyone's here to talk about Gaza, don't waste anyone's time. You can send us an email and we'll read it. We have nothing to do with Gaza.
Can you say that again? Where was this at?
So this is in Washington County.
Okay,
Sorry,
Washington
a little
County.
bit closer is better.
Okay, yeah.
So Washington County Chair,
Yes.
don't waste anyone's time. Send us an email because we have nothing to do with Gaza. So, and she may believe that. I don't. The way I think about it is that how do we move these people? We call them, and we have been calling them, and we haven't seen any change. Maybe a little concession here and there. Maybe block the bombs is the bare minimum, and we've moved some people. But what happens if every Washington County commissioner signs on? What happens if every city council across the region signs on? What if every school board member in the region signs on? So to Director Cosby's point, we need to be calling these people, but we have. But how about we call our city councilors? What if we call our school board members and our county commissioners who think that it has nothing to do with Gaza? So just wanted you all to know that the people that are keeping an eye on our local elected leaders are seeing what's happening. It's a little bit disturbing to me, and I just wanted to share what I've seen and see if that impacts. Do you want to know how to find your local lawmaker? What if every Democratic lawmaker in the state also signed on? So that's local leaders, that's leaders in Salem. That creates pressure. So yes, we need to move these people, but the question is how? Do we keep calling? And we call, if you guys need help finding your local state representative, your state senator, let me know. I'll be around. But I just wanted to share that, like, we have lots of ways to try and move people. It's been 2 years, it's been 76 years, it's been 100 years, however many years it's been, we do have some power. So I just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Thank you. Just a quick follow-up on that. I did see the Washington County, Nadia, I think, sent me a video link to it where some local citizens said, we want you to do more, and they were not treated, respectfully, I didn't think. They were kind of poo-pooed away. If you think about it, just put it in context. I think it's been some years ago, but Portland had made Ashkelon, a city in Israel, a sister city of Portland. And yet, that's one, to say that, oh, we don't get involved in things that are international, and why in the world would you make Ashkelon a sister city? And even Beaverton, I'm sure, sometimes works with Japan. The school district invites, kids from Japan over here. Absolutely, you can on a local level engage with people internationally, but you have to be selective about how you do it. So I would suggest that maybe there's a movement in Portland. Anybody who, if they're from Portland, you might, move.
I'm going.
Okay.
Democratic Socialists of America Portland Branch has a campaign going now to get the city of Portland to break their sister city relationship with Ashkelon. It's a campaign that's gaining momentum, and please get involved. That's one of
There's also a divestment campaign going on.
Okay, thank you. And we could make Gaza a sister city. We could say, let's drop Ashkelon, let's adopt Gaza in Beaverton, in Washington County. We could do that. There's no reason why you couldn't do that. Anybody else have anything to say? Any questions?
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Musab Mayes. I'm a Palestinian. I've been organizing in Portland for the past 2 years, but I've been a Palestinian organizer in New York City since almost 20 years. So I was 13 years old when my dad introduced me to organizing. The one thing that I will say is I'm a little bit disappointed coming from a place like New York City, where we see the Muslim communities coming out, especially when we have protests, and we're not seeing it here. Which I think is a little bit unfair to ask other people to lead our struggle. So we have to do our part as Muslims to put pressure on our brothers and sisters to show up. The same way we put pressure on them to show up for Jama'at prayer, we should be putting that same pressure on them to show up on the streets. To lead into that, we are hosting a rally and a march. It's about 1.7 mile loop on October 7th at 4:30. And the march is going to be at 5 p.m. And it's going to be at Wallace Park, Northwest 25th Avenue in Portland, Oregon. We're also working and supporting ending the sister city relationship with Portland and Ashkelon. So that's supposed to be a program built for, they call it bridging of people and culture, which is really ironic. So we're working on getting that. We're meeting with local city councilors and trying to put pressure on them, but that doesn't mean that we can't put pressure on them even if you live outside of Portland. We're also, to your point, our stretch goal is to get Gaza City recognized as a sister city with Portland. And lastly, the BDS movement has been really a big one and probably the most successful. We're seeing Microsoft just ended their cloud services. So
BDS stands for
boycott, divestment, and sanctions. If you're not familiar, basically South Africa apartheid ended through the BDS actions of putting financial pressure on it, and we're seeing the financial pressure on Israel with their stock markets crashing, their credit ratings dropping. So we are putting pressure on them. Intel, which is local here to Hillsborough, actually canceled their plans to build a facility there. We're seeing now Microsoft divest and starting to end their cloud computing and cloud services where they record every phone call happening in Bethesda. So there are programs, and sometimes, like I said, I've been organizing. I'm 32 years old. I've been organizing since I was 13. My sister went on the Flotilla in 2009, I believe, and was able to break through. So we've been doing this for a long time, and sometimes, Yani, like we feel like we're in a position where things aren't changing, but they are. Like 20 years ago to where we are today, the amount of people, Americans, who are aware of the Palestinian situation. So it's up to us as Muslims in the community to educate our neighbors on it and to educate our kids and make sure that we're showing up however we can, especially with our dollars. If you're a small business, pay attention to where you're buying stuff. If you're supporting brands like Stuff, right? If you're a small business and you're selling Stuff products, make sure you're pulling those Israeli products off of the shelf. If you're unfamiliar with there's an app called No Thanks and Boycott. Those two apps are great for scanning products to tell you if it's supposed to be on the boycott list or if they're unsure or if it's a safe product to purchase. But even within our own community, we're seeing Israelis working with Jordanian farmers where they export olives from occupied territories to Jordan to sell it as Jordanian products. So we have to be really aware of where we're purchasing our materials and where we're putting our dollar, because the same issues that in civil rights era we boycotted businesses or the buses out of business, and it was through our collective power as a community. So we have to make sure that we're showing up, supporting the BDS movement, and of course local politics and state politics. So. And if any of you are on social media and would like to follow us, our page is Al-Awda PDX, ALAWDA PDX.
We will have flyers with a lot of that info on your way out.
Cool.